Good morning, Bears. How we doing today? As usual, we're learning technology along with science, along with history. So anytime you're doing a recording session like I'm doing right now, as I've found out in the past, you want to check your stats here. So let's pull this up. Let's make sure that everything is working correctly. Let's check our show recording monitor. Testing 1, 2. There's my Yeti microphone. Testing 1, 2. We've got the recording monitor going. I can see what I look like. So now that they've cleared that, we will take that. We will hide the recording monitor and get back to business. I don't want to close this. I just want to minimize it. Using minimization and tabs and all that is helpful. All right, let's get to the lesson of the day. We're down at lesson 10. We're week 3. We have one more week of metabolism before Christmas break. But right now, if we review looking at Sophia's slide, you can see what a A-level student gets done. You might say, where did that screenshot come from? She did that. Did I ask you to do that? No, but she remembers from weeks in the past that it's helpful to have a screenshot. So it says, what evidence did you see that the energy was being released during cellular respiration? Well, one piece of evidence I saw that energy being released during cellular respiration is the mitochondrial glow when the oxygen and glucose combine. Bing, 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 bing. We have a winner. Good job. So notice she brings that in here to show that. She answers her questions about the new substances that were produced in the chemical reaction were water and carbon dioxide. You're going to learn about that today when we do a breathing technique. We're bringing this into real life, some sourcing. We got an epic day. And then she has chemical reaction takes place in the cell, in the part or an object called mitochondria. So she has that there. Today we're going to dive into that cell and do some modeling. Great work. And then she also has her answer in the blue here and the blue here. Now notice, and then I forgot about this one. This claim should be highlighted. Your breathing rate, which we've done it twice to know our body, and our heart rate. And she has 2 heart rates there. Yeah, we only did breathing once. Today we're going to do breathing again. Here's her heart rate. She has her information about it. She answered her question, why the blood is pumping faster. This is why she has an A. Notice her directions are below all of her work. Top slide. Thank you, Sophia, for being a rock star. So you guys that are just barely getting going, haven't opened the slideshow yet, or open it. Listen, you can be creative learners. Everything I do, I put in groups. Let's go take a look at groups for today, for example. Now, this will look different because I haven't posted it yet, but it says Thursday, Friday, Thanksgiving Epic. This is going to be a 2-part video. This whole video I will post today, so it's in one place. We'll only watch some of it today, Thursday. Tomorrow we'll do some of this lesson on Friday. And then you have all of Thanksgiving break to work and catch up and get some things done. Maybe go work on a past slideshow. Don't go that far back, though. Last week's history is the farthest you should go back to work on. Remember, we're in Egypt. Notice I have a link, Native American chiefs. I have famous pharaohs, and I have breathing science. The breathing science video you will see here today in this video. The pharaohs looks like this, and I don't see the other one, but you'll figure it out, and you'll understand that in a minute. Let's get back to our groups. So what are we doing? We're going to watch the breathing video and talk about breathing. Then look what it says here. It says, watch breathing video, pay attention to the chemical reactions taking place as described. Answer question, top slide. Answer this question, top slide. Why does deep breathing make you feel better? What is happening to the cells? And then we're going to play with the sim. It's around 72, depending on if you've made new slides. It might be a little different, but there's a sim. Pay attention to proteins and amino acids reactions. After the video lesson from Mr. Downs, this one, today, the first part 1, use the model tool to show what you have learned. It's around slide 84. Screenshot best work and put on top slide with short explanation. Also click hand in when done. Let's do hand in. You'll see that in a minute. Now, check this out. Overview, but it's going to be all in groups. Don't worry about this until tomorrow and into Thanksgiving, but we've got bonus. Create a top slide of what you're thankful for. That's your own personal slide, anything you're thankful for because it's Thanksgiving. And then also make a top slide or slides, as many as you want, comparing pharaohs and your favorite Native American chief. So you'll look at those 2 links and then just research a couple pharaohs, research a couple chiefs. What's different about them? You know, what would you rather be, a pharaoh or a chief? Describe them a little bit. How are they similar leaders? How are they different leaders? Just have fun with that, getting used to pharaohs and chiefs, because Thanksgiving is based around interactions with Native Americans, which we'll study in depth later. All right, now look here. Entire slideshow not due till Monday after Thanksgiving. So you don't have to submit this at all unless you really want to be done with it. But you can do all the work, and we will look at the slideshows Monday before we start Egypt. Remember, we have next week off. So tomorrow we'll be on Zoom, using this video again and just getting started and saying our goodbyes for a week. All right, let's get started. Back to Sophia's. What's the first thing we want to do? There are people in class that go and get this stuff done because they just follow direction. It says, watch breathing video and pay attention to chemical reactions. So we've been doing hard activities, breathing activities. Let's go. We're going to study something called the Wim Hof method. And it's not really controversial, but it's kind of a new thing. And this guy can run around on the ice. They call him superhuman. Takes away stress, and it's just breathing. Everybody knows that deep breathing helps. So right now, when I go research something, and this is a little bit of science, I always want to try, first of all, you type in what you want. Wim Hof method explained. I tried Wim Hof science, and notice all of these different areas. So here's oxygen advantage with Wim versus Wim Hof method. Notice we're studying oxygen. 2 years ago, pretty recent. Don't know who this guy is, and we're not going to click them all right now, but that verse usually means there's a different method out there. Now this Wim Hof is basically a way to get oxygen into your cells. So let's watch this guy a little bit, who I found. And this is May 9th, 2019, fairly new. Because remember, when we're talking science, the newer the better, because the newer science is always updated. When we're talking history, the newer the better for secondary sources. Oldest or closest to the time of the event for primary sources, so we can actually learn what was happening at the time. So we just kind of touch on that as we go through. So let's take a look at what this guy's saying and look for the science.
Technique. Number 2, what happens to the blood pH? And number 3, what happens to the delivery of oxygen to the cells as well as the brain. Most important, in this video, I would like to bring your attention to 2 aspects of the Wim Hof breathing which I have not seen anyone mentioning, and in my opinion, I think it is the reason why the technique has been reported to be so beneficial for many people. Most studies done in this technique have monitored the oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Okay, here we are. What have we been learning about? Oxygen, notice 2 molecules. Remember, we studied this yesterday. Carbon dioxide, 2 oxygens, 1 carbon. So we're already getting into the science. Now, before we dive any further, let's do a little deep breathing. Sit down and relax. Now, follow with me. We're going to go in. Fingers are going to represent how long you should be breathing in, how long you should be breathing out. Okay, ready? And I want you to kind of just think about how you're feeling when you do this. So ready? In, out, in, out. Now I want you to think as you're going in, make it a little bit more aggressive, like get as much air in as you can. As you go out, slow it down a little bit in about half the time. Let's go. Ready? In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. All right, so now obviously we know now by looking at our Sims, we just pumped a bunch of extra oxygen into our system. I can almost feel a little tingling. And what they say is when you get this technique down, you're going to be like a superhero, man, because all your cells just get super loaded with oxygen. It brings you energy, it heals, it's an immunity booster. There's tons of research on this. We could spend all week on it. I wish we could, but we have other stuff to do. But just think about how you're feeling right now. You can keep that breathing going right now if you want. Now at the end, in about a minute while you're watching this video, if you keep that breathing, on the last one when you come out, hold your breath. And hold it as long as you can till you're like almost ready to pop. Then take a deep breath. All right, go ahead and keep practicing that as you want as we watch the video.
Two of the body's blood gases. But when I looked at the scientific literature, I saw that similar breathing techniques have been found to have a big impact in the third blood gas, nitric oxide. As I will share with you later in this video, Wim Hof method most likely has a massive effect in terms of the nitric oxide production. In 2016, I attended the Wim Hof method training, and the analysis that will follow now is not part of the training. So I'm completely responsible of any mistakes. It is always my intention to understand why a specific technique has an effect. And this is why I'm aiming with this video. In order to follow the science in this video, I will provide a very quick review of the respiratory biochemistry. If you want to skip it, you can click in the timestamps below. The body has three gases in the blood. Number one, oxygen, which is necessary for aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration takes place in the inner membrane of mitochondria, which exist within the cells. Mitochondria are the energy production organelles of the body, and unless the oxygen is inside the cells and inside the mitochondria, we cannot have aerobic respiration. Oxygen is always in full saturation in the bloodstream. You can assess that by using an oximeter, but it is pretty much guaranteed that anyone watching this video, provided you're breathing regularly at the moment, have a saturation of oxygen between 95 and 100%. The second gas is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a byproduct of aerobic respiration, and it is necessary for oxygen to be used. Based on the Bohr effect, discovered in 1904, carbon dioxide levels are necessary for the oxygen to be released from the hemoglobin in the bloodstream and enter in the cells. So in this way, carbon dioxide and oxygen have a synergistic function. Carbon dioxide has an acidic effect in the bloodstream. This means that when carbon dioxide levels are high, the blood is acidic. When carbon dioxide levels are low, the blood becomes more alkaline. It's also important to know that carbon dioxide determines when we breathe, how often we breathe. When we feel suffocated, when we feel the sensation of air hunger, is not because we are running out of oxygen. As I said, we always have enough oxygen in our bloodstream, but it's because we are reaching our tolerance to carbon dioxide. The third gas is nitric oxide, which is produced primarily in the respiratory tract and especially in the nose. Nitric oxide has been shown to have a lot of benefits, including sterilizing the air coming in from the nose. It has a vasodilatory effect, so it makes our vessels get wider, so the blood flows more freely, and it actually functions as a neurotransmitter and a signaling molecule in our immune system. Let's now describe the Wim Hof breathing. It has three stages. Stage number one, it is the hyperventilatory stage. We breathe in and out for 30 breaths. Most of the time Wim will describe breathing in and out from the mouth, but a lot of the times it can be in from the nose, out from the mouth. But we definitely take more air than we normally do during this phase. 30 repetitions. At the end at the exhalation of the 30th breath, we hold the breath for a maximum hold. And when we need to take a breath in again, we breathe in, out, and then we take a second hold for just 10 seconds. That would be one round, and someone can repeat this round a couple of times. It is advised to build your practice gradually and do this breathing technique in a safe environment, seated or lying down. But avoid doing it when you are going to be submerging yourself to water or when you're operating any machinery. In the following slides, I will show what happens in terms of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the bloodstream during the Wim Hof breathing. What happens during the first round of the Wim Hof method breathing? Oxygen saturation increases by just a bit, as in any case, saturation of oxygen is close to 100 anyway. However, because of the hyperventilation, we are exhaling more forcefully and getting rid of carbon dioxide quicker. At the end of the hyperventilation, these events reverse. So we are not taking any more oxygen, oxygen levels get lower, but carbon dioxide levels build up. And we feel the urge to take the next breath in when we hit our tolerance to carbon dioxide, in which case we breathe in again. This is the theoretical model of what happens during one Wim Hof breathing cycle. And let's look now at the effect this has to the blood pH. As carbon dioxide has an acidic effect, and carbon dioxide is reduced during the hyperventilation. 2003, in which it measures.
All right, we're going to check it. Look at this, respiratory chemistry. You can watch that whole video later if you want. There's tons of research on it. It's pretty fun. Like I said, the biggest thing is when you're breathing that heavy, you might get lightheaded. That's why they say don't be riding a bike and try this. But look at this, respiratory chemistry, the role of carbon dioxide and oxygen distribution. This is exactly what we're studying. One of the reasons I'm showing you this is that, like I've tried to teach you guys, this is not just about getting a grade. You guys are learning about human bodies. This is cutting edge stuff. Doctors use this, scientists use this. So it's really fun to see this in real life. Let's see what's happening in this stage of the video.
Measured exactly that. It measured how much oxygen is circulating in the brain under normal breathing and under hyperventilation. And as it is shown in this graph, during hyperventilation, the brain is deprived of oxygen. Finally, I would like to discuss the two aspects of the Wim Hof breathing, which I have not seen mentioned anywhere, but I believe are the main reason why this technique has got so many positive testimonials. So first we will speak about nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, as mentioned earlier, is produced in the nose, and it is a molecule that...
All right, we're going to stop there because there's tons of science and that's enough. Check this out though, this guy's pretty funny, man. He runs outside in the snow. This doctor here discusses it for an hour. There's just all kinds of fun stuff on breathing. Breathing is one of the obviously, you die after a couple minutes without breathing, but using your breathing, a lot of studies are showing, can make you think better, feel stronger, fight off sicknesses better. So deep breathing every morning just to get our day started like we did is a great thing. So now let's get to the next part of our assignment. Jump up to our slideshows. We're going to go, let's just go ahead. I was going to, right up here, let's go to our breathing slide. Find your breathing slide. I think it's right down here. And the only reason I want you to find that is that's going to help you with our description. We're talking about oxygen. And where's the, I think we're supposed to have one more slide. I don't know if I did that with this class now that I think about it. But there's a slide down here that shows, make sure you move that to the top. I'm going to move Sophia's 4, if I can find it. Oh, here it is. These down here, these molecules that we talked about, because remember we were just referring to this in the video. Get one of these slides up top, so you can use that for your research. And then make that up top. And then we're going to make a new slide. Let's find it. I like this one, I think. Yeah, that's not great. But if you get one you don't like, you just delete the stuff you don't need. So these boxes, see, I just delete them. Highlight them, highlight them so you see the words, delete it. So this slide here, it's why deep breathing helps you feel better. So now you just did some deep breathing. Hopefully you feel better because after that deep breathing, you felt some tingling. Maybe your brain started thinking clearer. You should always do this before a test. And then we watched the video explaining the science of deep breathing. Oh, I don't like that thing. Anyway, we'll figure out the slide. And so I want you to just explain right now, kind of like writing a CER if you're really good at it, but it doesn't have to be a CER to get credit for this. I want you to just say some of the science that we've learned. So A, tell us about deep breathing or why breathing is helpful. What's the key chemical that you are breathing in? Oxygen. What do you breathe out? Carbon dioxide. And so that, when you breathe that out, that's why you can't hold your breath forever, because your oxygen is being used by your body. The carbon dioxide is being stored in your body. You want to breathe it out. And how does it help your brain? We just saw a little bit on the brain. We saw how more oxygen gets into cells. So just write a short little description right now. Not an epic CR. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Something you learned from the video, something about the oxygen, something about how you felt when we did the breathing activity. It's just a reflection about deep breathing, mentioning oxygen, CO2. You might talk about the carbon dioxide breathing out and the cellular respiration. All right, so write a little bit about what we've learned in the video, about what you've learned about breathing so far, because now we're going to move into proteins. All right, 5 minutes. Look at a couple of those. Obviously, if you're just checking this on the video, nobody's done one yet. But, some of the things you might want to mention, like I said, is when you breathe deep, you get more oxygen in. When you hold your breath and slow it down, your cells have more time to absorb that oxygen. The cellular respiratory system is having a chemical reaction that's taking in the oxygen, taking in and then turning that into H2O, water, and carbon dioxide, which then goes out of your body. And cellular respiration is how our body grows and heals and makes us feel better and helps us fight off infection and things like that. So it's obviously better to have proper breathing techniques. Always take time to breathe. All right, now let's go into phase 2 of the assignment. We're going to scroll all the way down here. We pause so you don't take this time. Kind of in part 2, this might be carrying over into Friday. We'll see how the activity goes with the writing and discussions in Zoom, but so you can be working on this Friday and even into Thanksgiving. So we now know that glucose and oxygen are needed for cellular respiration, which releases energy. But what exactly does the body do with that energy? And what about the amino acids? Because remember, a lot of us said it was 5, glucose and oxygen. What about the amino acids? Today we will investigate these questions. Let's use the Sim. What can happen in the cell as a result of energy released through cellular respiration? We have our Sim here to check it out. So we're focusing today on amino acid molecules in the cell's activity. Use this Sim to observe what happens to amino acid molecules in the cells of the body. So we're going to go healthy body, observe. We're going to feed the body 3 sandwiches, and then we're going to zoom in to see what's happening inside the cell by pressing the yellow box. And then we're going to observe the amino acid molecules, purple triangles, closely, and then answer the questions. What did you notice happening with the amino acid molecules in the cell? All right, let's do that now. Watch me do it. It will be on the video. I'm going to give you time to watch it. So if you're in Zoom, I'm going to pause this, not using an iPad. Don't forget you have to log in. If you're on Zoom, I'm going to pause this right now and you play with it. And then after, I will show the part I'm going to do right now, which I'm playing with it. In case your Sim doesn't work, you can use the video, pause it, and describe it based on mine. So go start to play with your Sim now after I teach you how to get it started, but maybe mine won't even work. We'll see. Well, there you go. Didn't work, but that's okay. We can figure it out. Hopefully it works for you during class. Mine is not working right now, but the Sim will take us in and you dive into the cell, and we can do it without it because we have some other options. So once again, in the Sim, this is going to explain what we should have seen in the Sim. In the Sim, you observe that when we eat foods with protein, molecules are broken down into smaller amino acid molecules in the system. These molecules are small enough to enter the circulatory system. We remember that from a couple weeks ago. You also observed that the circulatory system delivers amino acid molecules to the cells. Remember, that's the blood, goes around the blood, pops into the cell. Cells are everywhere in your body. They're not an organ like this. In the cells, they are combined to form new protein molecules. So notice, it comes into the cell, proteins come in as food, break down into amino acids. Amino acids come into the cell, and then they form again. Look at the arrow. This is important. The proteins we eat give our cells the parts to make new proteins that meet the specific needs of the cell and the body. Today, we'll learn how these new proteins are formed and what our cells and bodies use them for. Cells are always making new proteins, growing and dividing to make more cells. This is what makes bodies grow over time. When millions of healthy cells grow and divide to make millions more cells, the whole body grows. Cells are growing, creating your hair, creating new skin, fixing cuts. When you're recovering from an injury or just healing from a cut, you're actually growing. At least on a cellular level, the body repairs itself by growing the new cells and cell parts needed to fix damaged ones. Individual cells get old and die and need to be replaced by new cells. Cellular growth is always happening, even in adults, who may not be getting taller anymore but still need to grow new cells to replace old ones and repair damaged cells. To grow and repair themselves, cells combine amino acid molecules to form larger protein molecules. Those new proteins build new cells and cell parts. Growth and repair also require energy, so cells also need glucose and oxygen to release energy for these important functions. Think about these questions. How are amino acid molecules used in cellular growth and repair? How are glucose and oxygen molecules used in cellular growth and repair? So now we've added in amino acid in cellular. Let's see what we can learn about cellular growth and repair by observing metabolism simulation. All right, so here we get everything we should have done in the sim. Anyway, let's watch it. Oh, here we go.
Let's use the Metabolism Sim to closely observe the role of oxygen, glucose, and amino acid molecules in cellular growth and repair. We'll start by feeding the body 3 fish, a food which is high in protein. Let's watch what happens to the protein molecules in the body. Notice that in the digestive system, protein molecules are broken down into amino acid molecules before they can enter the circulatory system. Let's follow the amino acid molecules into the cells of the body. We know that amino acids are used to make proteins in the cell, but they are not forming protein molecules yet. Notice that once the cell has both oxygen and glucose molecules, cellular respiration can happen. Cellular respiration gives the necessary energy for amino acids to be formed into proteins. This shows that energy from cellular respiration is needed to build proteins from amino acids. Let's use the
Okay, so perfect. That gives us everything we need. Now pop on down here. You observe that energy from cellular respiration is needed to build protein molecules from amino acids. Without it, the amino acid molecules will not combine. So you observe the energy from cellular respiration. That helps that. Get ready because you're getting ready to use the modeling tool. Now, when you go use this modeling tool, assuming it works, you are going to screenshot it and put it in your top page. So let's go check that, see if it does work. What we want to do, you can go in the video, this video right here that we just watched, or in your slideshow, go above and click that video. Put that on a tab, open up the new modeling tool, which will open on another tab, and all you need to do by looking at the video, pausing it, create a image, a model of what is happening in the video. So for example, you bring in energy. When does that kick in? What causes the energy? What's going on with proteins? Are proteins before amino acids or after amino acids? Bring in your arrow to show that. I'm not saying this is right what I'm doing here. I'm just messing around. I don't want to give you all the answers. What's going on with carbon dioxide? Which direction is it going? Is carbon dioxide coming in? Is it going out? So create a model, hand it in, screenshot it before you go, and put this on your top slide. And then what does it say in our groups? After breathing, we did the proteins. We played with the sim. That didn't work, but we watched the video. Tools show what you have learned around slides. Screenshot best work and put on top side with short explanation. That's what I was checking there to make sure. So once you've screenshot it, move it to top slide. Short explanation about your model. Just 2 or 3 sentences. Superstars might write a CER. All right, we are covering a lot today. So now we are moving into part 3 of, this is Thanksgiving now. You've done your screenshot, you've moved it to the top. We've learned about breathing. You have your breathing activity we got done on Thursday. What we're talking about now is probably Friday. And now let's go for bonus slides for Thanksgiving. You can work on this all during the week. You can wait till Thanksgiving. But bonus slide is create a thankfulness slide at the top of your slideshow. What are you thankful for? And you can put pictures, you can write a letter, you can say a couple different things, 2 or 3 slides if you want. And then compare pharaohs to chiefs, Native American chiefs, and just do one of those. And that just reminds us about the Native American communities that were here, kind of when America started. There were people here before us, all right? And then also, it kind of ties us into the pharaohs, which we're going to be learning about after Thanksgiving. Bam! Whirlwind, epic, Thursday, Friday, Thanksgiving. It's all in groups. Get her done. Read the directions in groups. It'll help you. Put your slideshow together. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm specifically thankful when you show up for Zoom. I'm specifically thankful when you do awesome slideshows like Sophia and get your work done. You know why I'm thankful? Because it's going to make you a better person. It's not about me. It's not about your grades. It's not about your parents. You're going to be a better person when you do the work, when you think, when you put the time in, when you breathe, when you stay healthy. You are a winner. I'm thankful for you. We'll see you after Thanksgiving.